Hello, I'm Onoche, aka Daddy Notch, aka Notch, and you're watching The Jerrycan Show. I'm Onoche Onyakwena. I'm a broadcaster, I'm a voiceover artist, and this is how I got started. I didn't really have much of a flair for radio or anything broadcasting when I was growing up. I always wanted to be a medical doctor. That was the one thing that I had this desire to do. Maybe it wasn't really a desire. It was just, me being a kid, walked into a hospital, saw how cool doctors look, and I felt like I wanted to be a doctor, and I did. Got into medicine and surgery in UNN, University of Nigeria, Nsukka, and I actually studied medicine for 4 years. So while I was in my fourth year, or my third year, I think, I started getting interested in just reading newspapers and reading them out like though I was reading news. I can't really say, because I used to listen to radio, and I liked listening to radio, but I don't think there was ever any time when I was listening to radio that I thought, I want to do what they're doing. But at that time, I think my third year in medicine and surgery, I started to think, when I'm done being with my house job, I'm going to go and work in a radio station. But I never got to finish medicine. I actually failed out of the College of Medicine. And then a friend of mine, suggested to me and said, hey, you like production, you like all these things, why don't you go and study mass comm? That was the first time, that course ever just came into my mind. I didn't even remember that course existed. And I think I'll say the journey started from there, because I managed to get into mass comm still in the UNN. And it was in my first year in mass comm, after 4 years in medicine, that I decided to go to Lion FM, which was the radio station there on campus, and I got a gig. Funny enough, the person who got me into the station was Lawrence, who used to be in Classic FM 97.3. And he was my first co-host ever then on campus. So sometimes when I don't have lectures, I get to come for my show, and all that. And I started doing that. I read news, I did a show, then I eventually started doing the Sunday afternoon show on Lion FM. So after Lion FM, after I graduated, and then went into the city, and I just really couldn't get a gig in radio. It kind of was a long journey, because I was still living in Lagos then. I actually tried to get into radio, tossed my CV and my demo around. I went to Inspiration FM. I tried Inspiration FM. I was even a part of their reality show, I think Next Radio Superstar, but funny enough, I didn't make it to the top 20. So I was always kind of giving up on broadcasting. And if me and a friend of mine started doing like a YouTube movie show called Cinemaniacs. Some of our videos are actually still out there on YouTube. And because I was like, hey, if nobody's going to give me a job, I'm just going to do something for myself. So it was there I started really thinking of leaving. I didn't leave Lagos because of a job per se. I just kind of got tired of Lagos. I'd been there for 30-something years. And some of the jobs, also a broadcasting job that I was hoping would take me out of Lagos, kind of fell through. So I just decided to leave no matter what. So my idea was, initially I wanted to move to Enugu, but some things happened and it eventually became Port Harcourt. And my idea was to come to Port Harcourt and look for a radio station to just work at. I was not hoping to get paid, I want to express myself. I can do this thing. I can really add value to the company. I can read news, I can do voiceovers, and I can present. So I visited she wasn't my wife then, she was my girlfriend then, and I heard a particular radio station and I did not like what I heard in the news. So I said, you know what, I'm going to go and ask them for a job. And I marched down there with no CV in hand and asked for an audition, and I got an audition. So I kept checking. I kept calling the producer who auditioned me that day. And eventually he would tell me, okay, nothing yet, you get back to me. But then I just moved. I just decided to just make the move. I moved to Port Harcourt, and then I got to meet with him. And then he told me that, the station is really not doing so good. They're not paying anybody. I was like, perfect. I actually don't want to get paid. So I just want, an opportunity to express myself. And that by October of that year, I think it was 2014, He called me and told me there's an opening for news, and I jumped at it. So I started reading news there. And then eventually, I think I became one of the 2 co-hosts. Okay, but there was someone doing a morning show already. So he got 2 of us to join him on the morning show. And that was my first presenting gig in commercial radio. Because like I said, I had done something on campus, but that was my first gig on commercial radio. And I'd say that's where the journey really started for me. I was really raw then. I mean, yeah, I was good at presenting, but there's so many rules in broadcasting that I didn't really know, like not saying your opinion. Well, I said a lot of my opinion then. So yeah, but it was great. It felt great. Even though, yeah, I wasn't actually getting paid then, but I'm not one to say pay your dues or whatnot, but sometimes if one of the ways you could actually learn how to add value is to work for free. It's not easy to do that, obviously, but it helps you to know why you're doing what you're doing. And broadcasting has never really been a very high-paying profession. It's funny, my dad doesn't really know anything about, my late dad now, he doesn't know anything about broadcasting. But when I told him I wanted to move from medicine to mass comm, he kept telling me, you know, they don't pay them well. I don't know, it's a rap that our profession gets. But I think, you know, you could actually do very well for yourself as a broadcaster. But just like everything else, I don't want to say the cliche word passion, because sometimes people can bastardize a word. I'll just say, you know, what do you really want? Because before I moved to Port Harcourt and everything, I had to sit down and ask myself what I wanted. And I wrote everything down. I still have the book where I wrote everything down. I said, I want to work in a radio station. I did this for a few years. I want to do voiceovers and all that. And most of I think maybe 3 out of 5 of the things I wrote, I have actually gotten to do for a lot of years. So I think that maybe that's one of the things, is to know exactly what you want to do, and maybe all the sacrifices will be worth it. And yes, even the things that you love, you don't have to do it forever. Like for instance, broadcasting doesn't necessarily mean you have to work in a radio station 9 to 5, which I have done for the past few years. But I've also gotten to do things on my own, because I feel like if you're a broadcaster, what does it mean to broadcast? It means to send out messages. Whether you're doing it as mass media or you're doing it as personal media, it's still broadcasting, you know. And all the conventions that we learn of the work professionally helps us really to stand out from any other person. There are a lot of people on YouTube now, a lot of people on TikTok, and they can call themselves TikTok stars or whatever, but a broadcaster always stands out. Even someone who has the broadcast training that does the whole Instagram and TikTok thing, you can tell the difference between that person and somebody who just started doing it, you know. So that's been the journey for me. And so far, since 2014 till now, I have been actively in radio. I've always preferred radio to TV because, well, now a little bit of that is changing because of Instagram and TikTok, but in radio we are less seen than TV. And I prefer that. It gives me, I don't know, a little more space to work, if you know what I mean. But I've been active since then. I've worked for 3 stations. And the station I'm currently with, Classic FM, I've been here for 7 years, and it's been really good, you know. So it's basically living the dream. And a lot of people I tell about my journey, and they say, you studied medicine? I say, yeah, for 4 years. They say, why did you jump from science to art? And honestly, it's one of those, how will I put it, eureka moments, right? I was actually going to change to, I think, medical rehabilitation. That's physiotherapy, because I didn't have to do mathematics. That's not a reason. But I thought about it, and like I said, a friend of mine told me about mass comm, and it's not like I just decided I'm going to do mass comm because she said it, but when she said it, I was like, that's true. So I had 2 weeks to make a decision. So I took those 2 weeks. Yes, I prayed about it, and I got there's this UNN, say brochure or something that has like all the departments and faculties and on the courses that are there. So I started looking at the courses that were in mass comm. I saw things like photojournalism. I saw things like newspaper production. I saw things like film. I was like, okay, this looks good. I think this is something I would really want, because I was seeing some courses, you know, that advertising, public relations, a lot of interesting stuff that seemed like, okay, this could actually really work well for me. So that's, you know, after praying and after checking out everything, I made my decision. I said, okay, fine. This is what I might as well, since I was going to go into radio anyway, when I graduated from medicine and got my license, why don't I just do it now? Be professional at what you love to do. So I decided to do it. And well, the rest they say is history. And I feel really blessed to have had 10 years of a broadcasting career, like literally living the dream. And of course, Classic FM, I had been a fan of Classic FM for years, so I actually got to work with my dream station. So I'll say it's been a pretty great journey for me.
It's the Drive Time Show right here on Classic FM 91.1, the only station that plays every song you know. I'm Daddy Nosh, and that was Who Can It Be Now by Men at Work. This one, of course, from the Australian band from the 1980s, and you just love to hear it. So, I'm going to leave you with some more great music, and I'll be right back, right here on the only station that plays every song you know. Don't go anywhere.
What's your advice for young people that have interest in radio?
Well, I don't know. This is usually the hard part, advising. Well, be sure that's what you want, because like everything, even what people would call high-paying jobs, you should be sure of what you want. If you're young, of course, you have a little bit of leeway to try a lot of things. But if you've said broadcasting is what you want, I think that maybe try and train yourself as well as you can. You don't have to train yourself before you get in. You could always, of course, there's always the opportunity to enter into internships in broadcasting. But while you're interning or whatever, if somebody just gives you a chance to be around the studio, train yourself. Don't just wait for anybody to teach you things, and they should, but sometimes they won't. There are some good books out there on broadcasting, like Powerful Radio and Beyond Powerful Radio by Valerie Geller. So you could check out that one and start to train yourself. And then if you could afford it, of course, FRCN school is also recommended. I mean, it's not that you graduate from that school doesn't mean that you're suddenly going to be the best, because you have to take it seriously. And I think that's the main advice that I can give. If you want to be in broadcasting, don't take what people say about broadcasting and say they just talk. All they do is just talk. There's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot of creativity that goes into it. You're preparing your shows, you're finding a way to do your air checks. There's a lot that goes into it. And there's also your work ethic as well. So I'd say if you say, I want to go into broadcasting, be serious about it and train yourself well about it, because there are so many professions that are very difficult to do, but you can hide in those professions. But broadcasting is one area you can't hide. Once you put on the mic, everybody knows what you're about. So you can form, but I don't know how long that would take you. So if you want to do it, be serious about it. It's not about being a social media personality, because a lot of broadcasters seem to focus more on their Instagram, but that's not what it's about. You need to remember that your job is to entertain, to inform, to educate, and to interact with people. So if you really feel like this is the field you want to enter, don't treat it like a side hustle. Don't treat it like a side job. It's a serious thing. Give it your best and train yourself to be the best in that field.
Right. I love the fact you talked about training, which is very, very key. Because I've seen young lads and ladies that have interest, but I've seen them. The interest is more on the buzz around it, the personality thing. I'm an OAP, the whole buzz around. That's where their interest lies. So touch a little on that, which is also very key. And then the second question I have for you is, you talked about this being a dream job. You're living the dream. Still, while you're living the dream, the next question I have for you is this. What do you see yourself? What's the next phase? What's the next chapter? What do you see yourself? What do you see yourself doing next?
Okay.
Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years or 10 years from now? Still radio, TV, mass media, or like what's the next chapter or phase for you?
Okay. Well, generally, first of all, the first part. The advice I have for people who are carried away by the buzz, don't believe the hype. Sometimes it takes you to come into the industry to actually know that it's not all it's cut out to be. There's the just like a lot of professions that are around media and entertainment, there's too much flash. Somebody's wearing expensive clothes and you don't know he rented them. You think he bought it. Somebody's driving a car he rented just to show an appearance of I'm a star. It's not that you can't be a star in broadcasting. It's just that a lot of people you think are stars, man, you need to look deeper. And it's like actors. I heard George Clooney talk about actors once and says that the average actor in Hollywood earns $10,000 per year. Yeah, Robert Downey Jr. got paid $20 million. This person got paid $30 million. But a very large percentage of actors in Hollywood don't get paid enough to make their rent for the year. It's the same thing with broadcasting sometimes. There's so much, the amount of people that you see, some of them are not even real, to be honest, but the real ones are really few. But it's not a profession that is very flashy. That's why I said, be sure and be serious about what you want. Don't look, if you want celebrity, go to Nollywood. But if you really want to do the work as a broadcaster. Sometimes you get popular and you're not trying to be popular. It just happens. Once you put your voice on radio, everybody knows you. So it's inevitable, but that's not what it's about. So you, of all people, need to try not to get carried away with it. But future for me, I don't know, but the ideal part for me is what I think a lot of broadcasters look forward to. Have a syndicated show on radio, if I'm still going to do radio. But generally, I'm still seeing myself in the media scene. Maybe not just radio or TV. It could still be, all the other branches like public relations, media management. And that's one thing I'm really looking forward to right now is media management. There's a lot of, irresponsibility when it comes to broadcast media. People, the way they run their companies and all that, the way they handle talent. And I think it's something that is very overlooked. Even in some training, we spend very little time. Like I know I studied that in mass communication, media management. We take very little time addressing media management. And it's one field that I really want to explore, that and public relations. It's something, those are two fields that I feel like there's a really big need and very challenging. I'll still do radio, but not 9 to 5 for sure. I'm just going to probably do a show once a week and have a little bit of my time to pursue other things.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well, always a pleasure to do things like this, talk about the story, because the story sometimes when you hear, like a lot of people would watch this and say, oh, wow, I didn't know he almost became a doctor. Yeah, that's why I like to tell the stories, because look, no matter how, and that's the thing, my coming out of medicine was not something I decided. I failed. Yes, I did fail. I failed twice. I wrote my second MB twice and I did not pass. And it forced me out. I had to be forced out of the college. So, and that's another thing I would like to say to you, that no matter how terribly your plans work out, don't give up. Just pick yourself up and keep pushing. I mean, it never ends until you say it's over, right? I'm not trying to sound motivational, but truly, it never ends until you say it's over. As long as you can have the strength to stand and keep walking, keep trying stuff. Oh, broadcasting didn't work for you. Okay, wait, maybe talking is not yours. Maybe you should try print media. Oh, the writing didn't work for me. Find something. There's always something. There's something God-given in you, I believe. Like I said, when I was growing up and all that, I was drawing. I draw pretty well. I didn't see myself talking for a living, but those things were in me. I just needed things to force them out, I guess. So maybe there are some things that need to be forced out of you for you to see that you actually have a talent in this and where to use it. So don't give up. No matter how bad the thing goes, don't give up. And like I said, that's why I like to share stories like this, so that you can know it's possible too.
All right, thank you very much. It's possible too. Daddy Notch. I appreciate.
Thank you.
Your first word is grow.
Okay, G-R-O what W?
Yeah, your time starts now.
I guess it's time to grow. It's time to grow by Lemar.
Okay, yeah, time to go by Lemar. Okay, that was on point. Okay, let's take another one. Your second word is party.
A party and a party till it's ran or true. Bring it to my crew, gotta be player proof. Party and a Party by Queen Pen featuring Mr. Cheek, Nutter Butter, and Frikita.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even see that coming. I didn't even see that coming. It's okay. Let's. Your third word is marry. Marry.
Just marry.
Yes. M-A-R-R-Y.
I think I wanna marry you. Yeah, I don't know whether that's the name of the song. I mean, it's not titles, right? It's a song. That was Bruno Mars, right? I don't know how to sing the rest of the song. I just know that part.
All right, it's okay. Thank you very much. Okay, let's still continue the game because I'm enjoying it right now. I'm really enjoying this. Another word is black.
Okay, I can't sing that one. I know a song, but I can't sing it. I don't know how to sing the song is what I mean.
Okay, what's the title?
Black on Black by Tina Onwodiwe.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going for Black or White by Michael Jackson.
But yeah, well, there's that one too.
Okay. The word green.
Give me the green light. John Legend.
All right, the word moon.
I feel like I'm going over the moon.
The word work.
If you work it, if you something work it by Missy Elliott. I can't remember how to sing that one.
All right, California.
California love. Tupac Shakur.
Play.
Players, they gonna play. That's 3LW. Haters, they gonna hate. That one. Players gonna play.
Boy.
The Boy Is Mine by Brandy and Monica, I think.
Girl.
Okay, this one is easy. I think The Girl Is Mine, Michael Jackson, Paul McCartney.
All right, Daddy Dutch, thank you.
You're welcome.
I really enjoyed myself. And again, I want to say thank you for everything you've done and thank you for what you're doing, for sharing your essence on radio. People really appreciate what you do and keep doing what you do. And I hope you'll love to really come on the show some other time.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Okay, it's comforting to know you enjoy yourself. All right, so what's a parting shot? What's a parting shot, generally?
I don't know, stay true to yourself. And there's a way I always end my show. I say, stay hopeful and stay blessed. In other words, hope. Without hope is when we think that it's all done for us here. But if there is hope, there is still something to expect because hope is a confident expectation. So always keep your hope up, no matter how dreary everything looks around you.
All right, thank you and stay blessed, as you said.